happening, guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another weekend preview show. The final week of Premier League action before the November international break. It seems like we're having one of these every week now, and joining me to preview the action is friend of the channel, an Arsenal fan, Luke Webb. Webby, thanks for joining me as always, mate. Let's get straight into it. The action kicks off on Friday night, and quite a tasty game, this one. Two teams kind of struggling near the foot of the table. Aston Villa, quite surprisingly, but Southampton host Villa at St Mary's tomorrow evening. What have you made of Aston Villa, Webby? Because, you know, I thought personally, when obviously I lost Grealish, big loss to them, but I thought they reinvested the money really well with Buendia, Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, etc. But it's not really clicked for them. They're only a few points above the drop zone. What do you think is going wrong for them?
Yeah, I think it's just a classic case of sometimes when you're not a top club and you haven't got the depth and you do lose your talisman, like I think it's just they've not been able to replace him. And the recruitment, like everyone said, Buendia, Ings, all the signings looked really good on paper, and they're gonna have this four-pronged attack rather than just Jack Grealish. It's just not worked out, has it? They've not clicked as a team. They've not gelled. Dean Smith's not got his formations right. He's a bit muddled between three at the back, four at the back, all this kind of stuff. And I mean, it's tough for them. They've literally lost their talisman. You watched Villa last season and it was literally Jack Grealish. Like, everyone could see that. They've got talented players, but they've just not gelled together. He's not found the formation that works. And that's why they're just a few points, like you said, above the drop zone. I don't think it's any deeper than that. And when you lose that talisman, other players are underperforming now as well. Martinez was unreal last season. He's dropped off.
Even Tyrone Mings is struggling as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think Grealish in that squad lifted everyone. And it's just been such a blow for them.
I mean, you obviously saw him live the other week when Arsenal played him at the Emirates. Were you surprised at how poor they were?
Yeah, they were shambles. Like, they changed formations from the first half to second half. They didn't know what structure they were playing. They seem to have a lot of good names on paper, but it's just not working as a team. And it must be horrible for Villa fans to watch because, well, I think it's funny because they went after Smith Rowe at Arsenal.
It was like three bids, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3 bids for 20 mil and thought they were big for their boots and they're falling off a cliff. So I don't mind it. But yeah, it must be tough for Villa fans because they're really struggling.
Do you think Dean Smith will be given time to turn this round? Obviously, he's done very well, brought Villa up. He's been there a while now. Obviously a favourite with the fans, etc. How long do you think he's got to turn it round? I mean, it was probably a bit early to be talking about the sack, but he probably needs to arrest this slump in form pretty quickly.
Yeah, mate, you say too early. You never know in the Premier League.
You don't.
I don't know. Like, he's probably got a good faith, hasn't he? Because he's done a very good job. But yeah, I'm just looking back at their fixtures now. They're without a result since the 18th of September, aren't they? And that was ages ago. And I mean, they've had a tough run. United, well, Spurs aren't the best, are they? Or United really said tough run. Spurs, United, Wolves, Arsenal, West Ham. On paper, it's pretty tough. He'll have time. I'd be surprised if anything gets done really quickly. But you know what the Premier League's like.
I also think it's more like the way they've lost certain matches, like the Wolves game, for example, 2-0 up at home, in complete control of that, letting 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. That's so poor. Yeah. And like West Ham, I know West Ham are good, and we'll come on to them, but they just battered them. To ship 4 goals at home and just not be in the game, it's not acceptable. But I think they will be given time, and they're a talented bunch. And when it clicks, when they learn to actually, I mean, I would have thought having more players to be reliant on would actually be better rather than just relying on one person to do everything. You've got like more talented players to kind of split that workload between them. But I guess they're just sort of adjusting to it. But in terms of Southampton, mate, what have you made of them? Another team that have got some great young players. You know, I was at the Cup last week, and Chelsea Southampton. Saints played really well. I know it was kind of second string both sides, but Southampton were really good and unlucky not to win. What have you made of them? Because they've not picked up too many wins either.
Yeah, I like Southampton. I like the manager. He's a bit of a he's obviously tries to be like Klopp, doesn't he, in his personality and the way he motivates his players. But I like the way they've gone about things this season. I think the fullback Livramento has been like sensational.
Yeah, he's class. We've got a buyback clause on him for like 2 years' time. Yeah, he was our Academy Player of the Year last year, and obviously we wanted to keep him, but he wanted to go and play football. It's a shame because I think he would have played a bit for Chelsea this season, but such is it. But we could buy him back if you like, if we want to.
Yeah, because he's been brilliant. They've given him a chance, and the results have come. Like for a club like Southampton competing in that kind of middle part of the table where it's so there's a lot of clubs at the same level. They're grinding, they're like beating Watford. They got a point against Burnley, didn't they? And then I think they won the week before. I can't remember who they beat, but it was another good win. Might have been Leeds, I think.
Yeah.
But they're grinding out those results, and in the Premier League, it's a results business. You don't look at Southampton's team and think there's no stars that really stand out. They're very well drilled, very well organised, tough to play against, and they deserve it. And I think they'll probably do Villa this weekend. I think they can exploit Villa's kind of struggles personally.
Yeah, I think it goes to show, like, obviously the massive loss of Danny Ings and the goals there, but they don't seem to be struggling too badly without him. I think that's kind of the sign of a very well coached side. I think Hasenhüttl is a good coach. I have to say I'm slightly surprised that perhaps he's actually been at Southampton so long and perhaps a bigger job hasn't come up for him. But I think Saints are really well coached. Always give young players a chance. I do like them as a club. But yeah, Webby, as we come on to the score predictions, mate, what are you going for? Like, do you think Saints can do it? Are you going to go Villa or draw?
Oh, I'm going to go. Do you want score or do you want result?
Nah, just a result.
Just a result. Yeah, I'm going to go home win. I think Villa, it's going to be hard for them to turn it on. I think Southampton are well drilled. Under lights on a Friday. Decent atmosphere at St Mary's. I'll go Southampton win tomorrow.
I'm going to go with the draw in this one. I think Villa can't be so poor, like continuously week in, week out. But I also think Southampton, as you said, under the lights at home, I think they've got enough to at least get a point from this game. But moving on, perhaps to the biggest game of the weekend, the lunchtime kickoff, the Manchester Derby. Two teams in contrasting form. Who would you say this game's bigger for? Because obviously City losing to Palace last time out, they can't really afford to drop more points at this early stage and drop further behind Liverpool and Chelsea. Who do you think this game's bigger for?
Yeah, it's bigger in two ways, isn't it? Because City, you know what you're getting with them. In terms of winning the league, like it's a huge game. Yeah, they need to win. Like with the competition with you boys and Liverpool, you can't afford to drop these points. But for United, it's obviously, I feel every game's like a tightrope for Ollie now, because I don't think he's good enough to manage Manchester United. He's on borrowed time. I think everyone knows that. And a Derby defeat on Saturday would just be like, it'd be very hard to take for the fans again. So I'd probably say it's bigger for United simply because City have been here before. City have lost before, and cut straight to the chase. I expect them to bounce back and win the match. They're a better side than United. They've got a better manager. It's going to take a bad day from City and a very good day from Manchester United or a Ronaldo madness to get a result, I think.
Are you surprised at how much United have struggled this season, given that they've added Sancho, Varane and Cristiano Ronaldo? Are you surprised that they're just having to be bailed out kind of every week by Ronaldo, and there's no kind of, doesn't seem to be any system of play, doesn't seem to be any tactics. It's kind of just like go out on the pitch and hope that one of the good players does something.
Yeah, I think we'll probably come on to it later with Spurs, the new manager at Spurs. But I feel like you look at United, and for Arsenal, I know we've not punched with the big boys recently, but you look at the big clubs, United one, you look at their squad and you're scared of that squad. It's so talented. Should be doing
a lot better.
It's a success. It should be a successful squad, and how they're not getting the best out of them, it's on Solskjaer. It literally is on him because there's so much talent there.
Mate, are you surprised that, given that obviously everyone knows he's on borrowed time, etc., are you surprised that the board have shown such a lack of ambition and not thought Conte's available, let's just get him right now, just get rid of Ole, let's just get him? Are you surprised at the lack of ambition that the Glazers have shown there? Because I would have thought Manchester United are a club that always win and have always had the best managers, always had the best players, yet they've arguably got the worst manager in the league.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's complacency or just pure like incompetence, but they should have got Antonio Conte. I just have no doubt like that United need immediate success. It's not like Spurs who are a smaller football club and could probably get away with another failure, and they're not expected to win the Premier League. Manchester United are expected to win the Premier League besides their club, and they need immediate success. And they had the opportunity to go get a manager who has proven it, obviously, with Chelsea, that he can come in the league and deliver straight away. So I don't know whether they were just dithering, whether they're scared of upsetting the fans and Ole because he's a club legend and all that. They've just messed up, and they should have been ruthless, like Chelsea were with Lampard.
Mate, do you think, last thing on United, do you think that if they were to lose to City this weekend with the international break coming up, do you think Ole's done and they'll bring someone new in over the international break if they lose?
I don't know, because who are they bringing in now?
Well, I guess you look at Zidane, maybe. I mean, Zidane's the one that's out of work, but I mean, could you get? Yeah. I mean, I think Ten Hag from Ajax is a fantastic coach, but I don't know if he'd leave that team mid-season. It's hard to tell now.
Yeah, exactly. Zidane's like a very romantic appointment. I just think if they were going to do it, why didn't they do it after
Liverpool?
After Liverpool, and just give it. And
oh, mate, you can guarantee that if that had been Mourinho or Van Gaal or just a foreign manager losing 5-0 to Liverpool at Old Trafford, they'd have been sacked that evening.
Yeah,
but
so that makes me think if they lose, I don't know if he will get sacked.
I don't think they will either. I think honestly, I think they could just keep losing and he just won't get sacked. But I mean, you could talk about it all day, but he's well out of his depth of security. So just one thing on City, mate. What have you made of Jack Grealish? Obviously, massive price tag, £100 million. I've seen like quite a few I'd say critics. I mean, Twitter's not exactly critics, but people thinking he should be doing better. I mean, what have you made of it? That kind of his start to his City career.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where when I've watched him, he's looked like the same player. To be honest, like he's looked the same player to Villa. He's not been massively underperforming. I think because he lacks the goals and assists. When you've got that price tag on you, the questions do get asked, and he is underachieving. Like he needs to deliver more output for City. He needs to bring goals. He needs to be assisting goals to be successful. He's not doing that, and hence he's going to come under scrutiny. And I mean, I'm sure he'll come good. I'm sure Pep will get the best out of him. He, like Grealish, will know that he needs to deliver more, and it's probably an adaptation for him because he's not the main man anymore, is he? He's surrounded by good players or like top elite players. So yeah, I'm sure if he starts adding numbers to his game, then everything will quieten down. But at the moment, he's not doing that. Hence why there's questions.
Yeah, look, for me on Grealish, I just think that it's a massive step up in class for one. Secondly, he's playing football 3 times a week for the first time in his career. Never played European football before, and to adapt to Manchester City playing such a specific way that no other side plays like that. It's demands on his game that he's never had to do before. And I think it's quite hard to learn how to play for Pep. And it does take time. I always say, like, look at Riyad Mahrez in his first season at City. You're thinking, well, he's pretty bang average. And now he's kind of one of their most important players. Same with Sterling when he went to City, wasn't great and he got better each season. So, yeah, I think it's just a case of time for Grealish. He's definitely got the talent. But, mate, score prediction for this one. What we think, there's not score prediction. What are we going for? It's a prediction.
Away win.
Away win. Yeah. I think so as well. I just can't see United. They're just shambles. I just can't see them doing anything. I don't think they'll get battered 5-0, but yeah, I think they'll convincingly lose that one. Moving on then, we've got Chelsea-Burnley. Obviously, I've already previewed that on the channel. So, guys, you want to have a look at a more in-detail analysis preview of that game, then check it out. But Webby, just quickly, your thoughts, Chelsea-Burnley? Have you been pretty impressed with Chelsea?
Yeah, I won't go too much because I'm sure you've done the preview. And I mean, I expect a comfortable home win. Chelsea are one of the top teams this season. I think they're going to be right up there to compete for winning the Premier League. Tuchel's doing a great job. Yeah. Getting the best out of the players, tight at the back, goals are flowing. So yeah, on fire at the moment. And I mean, Burnley will make it difficult, but I mean, at the bridge, you can't look past Chelsea winning that comfortably, I'd have thought. No,
it should be a couple of easy home wins there, really. Mate, interesting game, this next one. 2 teams that are kind of banging form at the moment. Crystal Palace host Wolves. This should be quite a good game. Palace and Wolves both playing some good stuff. Wolves under Bruno Lage, having lost their first 3 games, seems to be kind of finding their feet now, and they're banging form. I think with Arsenal, they're in the last 8 games or so. I think they're the teams that are in the best form. Like, first of all, what have you made of Crystal Palace? Obviously, under Roy Hodgson, kind of, not the best, very old squad. Vieira's come in, kind of ripped that up, brought in some young players, playing some good stuff. They've got an identity and stuff now. Are you impressed with how quickly he's managed to change things around at Palace? And a great win as well at the Etihad last weekend.
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, for me, Vieira's, I'm so happy to see it. Vieira's like a club legend for us. And to see him go to Palace and do so well. But what's been so impressive about Vieira, he's not only gone in, sometimes you go in and you can either try and get results quickly by an attritional brand of football, or you go in and you change the style of play and the results don't come. He's managed to get results while transforming the way they play football. They've gone from a very kind of defensive, solid, give it Zaha kind of team, and then you've got the Benteke up front kind of under Hodgson, which kept them in the Premier League, but never really saw them do much else. He's got them playing beautiful attacking football, and he's getting the best out of young players. And this is without Eze, who's one of the best young talents in the league. And I think it's phenomenal. They came to the Emirates the other week, and they played brilliantly and
should have won.
Should have won. Didn't deserve to draw that game. They deserved to win that game. And he's backing it up result after result. Conor Gallagher's been an absolute gem for them. Like, great signing to take him from West Brom and get the best out of him. I'm pleased for Vieira. He deserves it, and it's great to see them in good form. And I hope it continues, because you've got them playing the right way, and I think it's fantastic.
Man, what have you made of Wolves as well? Because they've kind of, as I said, they've found their feet again now, playing some good stuff, picking up quite a few victories. Very good win against Everton on Monday night, and it's great to see Raul Jimenez back in the goals after that very nasty head injury. And him and Hwang, the Korean forward, they seem to be striking up a very nice partnership.
Yeah, no, that Wolves are obviously, like you said at the beginning, they're banging form. I think it's 4 out of the last 5 they won in the Premier League. They're absolutely flying, and they've not had the toughest. Well, they've had not the toughest run of games, but you don't put together 4 out of 5 in the Premier League easily.
Yeah, no, you don't.
And like you said, Hwang's kind of come out of nowhere. I hadn't really.
Yeah, he was from Leipzig, but he weren't really playing there.
No, and Wolves are always, when you got like Cody at the back and stuff, they're always well organised, aren't they, Wolves? And like you said, getting Jimenez back, who's one of the top strikers in the Premier League, really, at what he does. He's very effective, and the pace of Traore and the kind of guys that are there all the time, Matinho, all these kind of players, they're a top side, and good for them. I mean, after losing Nuno, they've kicked on, and they've probably not looked back since that. After such a period, Nuno kind of established them in the Premier League, so good on them for not falling off after that and actually kicking on. And why, you see what happened to Nuno. So. Yeah,
well, I think it's going to be. This is a really tough game to call. I mean, I think I'm probably going to sit on the fence and go with a draw in this one.
Yeah, that's the obvious thing to do, isn't it? Because you've got 2 teams both in form, playing well. You know what? I'm actually going to go Wolves win.
We'll go to away win. Fair.
Because I think Palace might be on a bit of a hangover after last weekend, after the City game. Wolves have been winning games. Palace have been drawing games. And I think Palace's win last weekend was fantastic, but it was against 10 men.
Yeah.
I think Wolves just have that winning mentality at the moment. So that's why I'm going to go Wolves win.
Fair, mate. Don't need to spend long on this one. Brentford host Norwich, who are, honestly, mate, they are probably the worst team I think I've ever seen in the Premier League. Yeah. I mean, they're on course to be worse than that Derby team. They've got 2 points from a possible 30 so far this season. I don't know what's going on there. They head to Brentford, who have had a pretty good start to the season. Obviously, a disappointing result last time out, losing to Burnley. I mean, this can't be anything other than a home win, can it?
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, on pay, when you watch them, they're terrible, and I think the stats back it up, like the worst start of the season or whatever, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Brentford doing well, settled into Premier League, good players, Tony and Buemo, they're doing well. So I would have thought Brentford will win. I'm pretty sure until it comes to crunch time, well, unless Norwich do scrape some points, pretty much every team you're going to back them against Norwich.
Oh, yeah.
It just seems to be like, it's crazy. So,
that's so bad.
Brentford.
Yeah, easy. But quite a good game, this next one. Obviously, Brighton banging form at home, take on managerless Newcastle, who've obviously been rejected by Unai Emery in the week, still looking to
yeah.
appoint a manager there. Very briefly, what have you made of the Newcastle kind of managerial shirts? It seems a bit shambolic, kind of sacked Steve Bruce and then didn't really have anyone lined up. It's not quite as bad as Tottenham's pursuit of a manager last summer, but it's heading that way.
Yeah, it's really, really weird because the whole takeover stuff thing was like so in your face and, oh my God, Newcastle are going to be the next City. It was like, well, actually, you've got a Premier League season to play. And the way you're playing, there's every chance you're not going to be in the Premier League next season.
No, 100%.
So they've got a bit, I don't know what's going to happen there because they're not a great side.
No.
They've not got great players. They've got a couple of players that heavily rely on Callum Wilson's goals. If he's not scoring, they're always in trouble. And just because you've been taken over, I don't know quite what they're going to do in January that's going to suddenly, I mean, they're going to have to sign some seriously good players in January just to come in and make an impact like that.
They're going to need to sign a whole new back line because that back line is the same back line that got promoted from the Championship. It's a Championship defence. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough all over the pitch, apart from St Maxim and Callum Wilson. So they are banging trouble, and they're still looking for their first win of the season. They've only got 4 points from 30. Quickly on Brighton, Webby, they've been fantastic this season, haven't they? Graham Potter, I think, such an underrated manager. He's got them playing really well, and a great comeback for a point at Anfield at the weekend from 2 goals down. Have you been impressed with Brighton?
Yeah, dead impressed. I think they've kicked on from last season. I think they underperformed last season. Like every game, they seemed to draw or lose, and it was like their expected goals was like massive. So they weren't. I think they were playing at a good level, and this season it's just clicked for them. Potter's a great manager. I know that there's some rumours about United Potter, which I don't think will be the worst. I think Potter's brilliant, and it wouldn't be the worst appointment in the world. They're playing really well. They play a good attacking brand of football. They're another team that's built on that solid defence and just experience with like Dunk at the back and Duffy. These players are just experienced in the Premier League now, and I think they've added a couple of good players, haven't they? The fullback seems to be playing well.
Yeah,
Cucurella.
Yeah, he's decent. Yeah.
All of a sudden offering more threat, and they're a good side. I mean, they'll be looking for a win because they haven't been in the best. I know they had some tough fixtures again, but drew against Liverpool, which was a good result. But before that, lost to City and then a couple of draws, Norwich, Arsenal, draw against Palace. So they need to get 3 points on the board and build on what was a good result last weekend. Yeah,
mate, I can't see this being anything other than a home win. I think Newcastle are banging trouble still. I just can't see where they're going to win a football match. So yeah, I'll be going for a home win. Yeah,
I agree with you there.
Mate, moving on then. Last few now. Everton take on Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday lunchtime. Rafa Benitez come in, had a good start, but they've now lost their last 3 league games on the spin. And particularly for him, not the most popular appointment in the first place, that's going to have the fans grumbling. He needs to pull something out of the bag to quickly get them back on side. And of course, it's going to be Antonio Conte's first Premier League match in charge of Tottenham. Webby, very briefly, are you worried about the appointment of Conte at Spurs?
No, I'm not worried. And I'm not worried because they've given him a short-term contract. Conte doesn't stay at clubs for a long time. What's he been given? Is it 18 months?
Runs out in 2023.
Yeah, right. I don't think Tottenham are a project that can be turned around in 18 months.
No.
I genuinely believe they need a long-term rebuild. And I don't think Conte, when he went to Chelsea and got the immediate success, changed the formation, that was with top players and the top squad still. He hasn't got that. He hasn't got your Hazard, or was it? Did you have?
Yeah, Hazard. Yeah.
I remember it was the game at the Emirates. We beat you 3-0, and it turned out
we got battered.
Kane's it's a squad so heavily reliant on Kane and Son, and I expect to see an improvement because he's a world-class manager. But I don't think it's the right fit for him or for the club, and I think Tottenham will eventually just grind him down. And the same thing will happen. It always happens in a Tottenham cycle. I don't think that the project is. I think the project is too big for Conte to come in and do the immediate impact he usually does.
Mate, I don't even think he'll see out his contract. I've got to be honest. I think he'll be gone in less than 2 seasons. I really do. Him and Levy will just fall out. Conte needs to be backed needs to be heavily backed. The squad needs massive reinvestment. That's going to be tough to do in January. And maybe next summer it'll be a bit easier. He's got to sort out Harry Kane. He doesn't want to be there. It's so obvious. Performances this season have been absolutely terrible. And he needs to get them defending better because they just leak goals for fun. But he can definitely make an impact. He can make them better, but it's not going to be an overnight improvement. It's going to take a bit of time. But maybe just quickly on Everton, mate. They started, well, as I said, 3 losses in a row now. Those fans are going to be getting on Rafa Benitez's back, aren't they?
Yeah, big time. He's probably one of the managers in the league on, again, probably favourite for if they don't pick up their form, like for the chop, because like you said, they didn't really like him in the first place because of Liverpool. They're obviously suffering, I think, from their talisman not being there as well. Calvert-Lewin is literally so pinnacle, like important to the way they play football. And it's not clicked. I know Damari Gray had a bit of a run of form at the beginning of the season, but
same with Townsend as well.
Yeah, and Townsend. I look through their side and I just see a lot of like Iwobi.
It's very average.
Townsend, Allen, Richarlison, Gray, like decent footballers in their own right, but not really. They've all had long enough to prove themselves, and Townsend is obviously going to be successful at times. He's a good player, but he's back end of his career, and you don't look at the side and it's not that good, is it? And they're probably I don't think he's going to get much more out of that without Calvert-Lewin in it.
No, it's a real struggle for goals as well. It really is at the moment for Everton. They just need to go back to basics. They're not defending well at all, letting in a lot of goals from set pieces, etc. But yeah, he does need to sort that out quickly. Mate, this is a tough one to call because it's 2 teams that are in poor form. I mean, I don't want to sit on the fence and go with a draw again. I'm just not sure if Conte can come in and just make that immediate impact and get a win straight away. I mean, I'm gonna go for the easy option and just take the draw.
I'm gonna go a home win because it's Spurs.
It's Spurs, fair.
And just because Conte's Conte, they're in awful form, and
yeah,
I'm gonna go Everton.
Fair, mate. Okay, last 3 now. Leeds host Leicester City. Obviously, Leicester have been on a good run of form. Last time out, Arsenal put in a great performance to beat them. Leeds picking up a much-needed win against Norwich last time out. This should be a good game, Bobby. Two decent sides. I mean, what have you made of Leicester very briefly?
Yeah, Leicester are a very good side. They're a top side, I think. They played very well against us last week in the second half. We defended exceptionally, but they're going to do well this season. They're going to be challenging for that 4th spot. I think they've got top players. Vardy stays fit. He's always got goals in him. They're built well at the back. Rodgers is a very good manager. Yeah. I like Leicester as a side, and I think they'll be one of the teams pushing for 4th place. So yeah, it would be tough for them to take last week because I think it was a big game, a big occasion. Leicester, Arsenal, 2 teams banging form, and they came out on the wrong side of it.
Well, I fancied them to win it. I really did. I thought Leicester would quite easily, well, not easily, but I thought they'd win. But mate, Webby, in terms of Leeds, mate, they've kind of struggled this season. Great first season, but again, as we so often see with newly promoted sides, that second season syndrome kind of kicking in. Do you think they've got enough to stay up?
I do. I think there's 2 things. Obviously, they've suffered badly from injuries, big time. They've been seriously depleted. Last season and the season before, Bielsa's been able to basically pick the same side, play the same way with the same formation, and he's not really been able to do that. And also, like you said, yeah, you kind of know what you get with Leeds. They'll come at you, they'll press the hell out of you, they'll be high energy. No Bamford's hurting them big time.
I think Calvin Phillips is a big miss as well.
Calvin Phillips as well. Rafinha is obviously top class.
Yeah, he's good.
Every time. You know what? I watch Leeds games just to watch him play football.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Every time he gets the ball, he's class. But yeah, it feels a bit disjointed, doesn't it? Like their kind of success from last season has been broken up by injuries, and it's not quite right. But I still think they've got enough to stay up, especially when Bamford comes back fit.
Yeah,
I think they're better side than Newcastle, better than Norwich, and I think they've got enough. So.
Yeah, I'd agree. But like, for this game, I think I'm going to have to go for an away win. I think Leicester have got enough to see them off. I know Leicester have got Europa. I know they've got Europa League Thursday, but it's at home, so there's no travelling. So I think they should be okay. A couple of away wins there. Right, moving on to the game you're going to. Arsenal hosting Watford. Arsenal in some great form. I thought the Leicester win was a statement victory. Kind of a win against a top side was kind of what was missing in this sort of run of form. It's arrived now. Arteta seems to be has got Arsenal playing some good football. Seems to be getting his plans across now, implementing what he's wanting to. This should be a fairly routine home win, shouldn't it?
It should be on paper. I mean, we're banging form. There's a real feel good around the club. Suddenly, all the media is like loves Arsenal and is talking positively after pretty much saying that Arteta should be binned like a month ago. So it's amazing how quick things change. Home, our form's not been very good under Arteta in the league since he took over, so it really is improving. So Watford at home is a fixture that you have to win that match. If you've got any ambition to keep on this upward trend, I'd expect us to win. I'd obviously go Arsenal win. It's never going to be as easy as it looks. No. Watford are a good side if they click. Right?
They're one of those funny sides, isn't it? You could either turn up and just batter them, or they turn up and they're quite decent. They get a result.
Yeah, exactly. They've got enough attacking threat, haven't they? There's no doubt with players like Sarr and King. Like there's the threat there to hurt any defence in Europe. So it's not going to be as easy as it looks, but hopefully we can make it that way. Hopefully you take the initiative early. An early goal changes the dynamic of the game when you're playing the teams in the lower half of the table. But yeah, obviously I'm going to go Arsenal win, back the team, and hopefully it's a good game.
Yeah, mate, I can't see anything other than an Arsenal win either. Just very briefly, do you think that Ben White and Emil Smith-Rowe are bang unlucky to miss out on the England squad?
Mate, so Smith-Rowe, I think he's unlucky because he's banging form, but I can understand it because there's obviously a wealth of attackers, and I can kind of get why. Ben White, I just can't get my head around it.
Like, I don't get it.
You've got Mings in the side, you've got Mings in the squad.
And Cody as well.
And Cody, it's so bad. Maguire, I know he's a leader and stuff, but obviously you're going to pick Maguire. But Ben White is in much better form, and Ben White's been part of the England. That's the other thing. He's part of the England setup. So I think Southgate's got that wrong. It's just,
mate, I think he's got it wrong leaving Tomori out as well. You're telling me that that Mings and Cody have had better seasons than Tomori and Ben White so far? 100% not. But I think they'll get their chance. They'll get their opportunity soon.
Yeah, no doubt.
Last game of the weekend, and it's a pretty tasty one. Two sides that are banging form. West Ham host Liverpool at the London Stadium. Mate, how do you see this one going?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a high intensity game, isn't it? Because West Ham play with pace and they attack you and they press well, and they're at you all over the pitch, and obviously we know that's Klopp's brand of football, so it's going to be a very entertaining game to watch. I mean, if Liverpool play anyone in the Premier League, pretty much apart from Manchester City and probably Chelsea, I think Liverpool are going to win the match because they're so dominant. They're such an exceptional team that Klopp's kind of crafted. But West Ham are on fire, aren't they? Antonio, Bowen,
mate, Declan Rice is playing so well.
Declan Rice, Ben Rama, everyone's on fire. You got threats from the fullback. Johnson's come in, even though Soufal got injured. Cresswell's always a really good player. They're a top side, and Moyes has done a fantastic job. And it's quite ironic to see West Ham up competing there with Moyes as manager and United really struggling. I almost think if they'd have given him more of a chance back in the day, what could have happened. But yeah, I'll go Liverpool win because I think that's the obvious thing to do, and I would expect Liverpool to win, but I'd also hope from a neutral and expect a very entertaining football match. It's definitely the standout for this weekend.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm torn on this one. I don't know I don't think West Ham will win, but I think it could easily be a draw as well. But I've gone for a lot of draws. No, I'm going to go for a Liverpool win. I think they'll have the bit between their teeth after last weekend's disappointment, throwing a 2-goal lead away. They're very good against Atletico Madrid the other night. So I think I back them to carry on their form. But they've got to lose eventually. They haven't lost in the league yet this season. They will lose a game. But I think they'll win this one. But that concludes the preview of the weekend's action. Webby, thanks for joining me, mate. Pleasure as always. Guys, make sure you smash a like on this video, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one.